Om Shri Sai Ram, Sai Satcharitha, Chapter 46, English Reading. Baba's Gaia Trip, Story of Goats. This chapter describes Shama's trip to Kashi, Prayag and Gaya, and how Baba, in the form of his portrait, was there ahead of him, and it also describes Baba's reminiscence of past birth of two goats. Preliminary. Blessed, O Sai, are your feet, blessed is your remembrance, and blessed is your darshan, which liberates us from the bond of karma. Though your form is invisible to us now, still, if the devotees believe in you, they get living experiences from you. By an invisible and subtle thread, you draw your devotees from far and near to your feet and embrace them like a kind of loving mother. The devotees do not know where you are, but you so skillfully pull the wires that they ultimately realize that you are behind them to help and support them. The intelligent, wise, and learned folk fall into the pit of the sansar on the account of their egoism, but you save by your power and poor the simple and the devout persons, inwardly and invisibly. You play all the game, but show that you are not concerned with it. While you do things, but pose yourself as a non doer. Nobody ever knows your life. The best course, therefore, for us is to surrender our body, speech, and mind of your feet and always chant your name to destroy our sins. You fulfill the wishes of the devotees and to those who are without any desire, but you give bliss supreme. The chanting of your sweet name is the easiest sadhana for devotees. By this sadhana, our sins, rajas, and tamas qualities will vanish. The sattva qualities and righteousness will gain predominance, and along with this, discrimination, dispassion, and knowledge will follow. Then we shall abide in ourself and our Guru, who are one and the same. This is what is called complete surrender to the Guru. The only sure sign of this is that our mind gets calm and peaceful. The greatness of this surrender, devotion, and knowledge is unique. For peace, non attachment, fame, and salvation, etc., come in its wake. If Baba accepts a devotee, he follows him and stands by him day and night, and is home or abroad. Let the devotee go anywhere like he likes. Baba is there ahead of him in some form, in an inconceivable manner. The following story illustrates that. Gaia Trip. Sometime after Kaka Sahib Dikshit was introduced to Sai Baba, he decided to perform the thread, that is Upanayan ceremony of his eldest son Babu at Nagpur. At about the same time, Nana Sahib Chandorkar decided to perform the marriage ceremony of his eldest son at Gwalior. Both Dikshit and Chandorkar came to Shirdi and lovingly invited Baba for these functions. Baba asked them to take Shama as his representative. When he was pressed to come in person, Baba told them to take Shama with them and said, after doing Benares and Prayag, we would be ahead of Shama. Now mark these words, for they show Baba's all-pervasiveness. After taking the permission of Baba, Shama decided to go to Nagpur and Gwalior for these functions and ceremonies, and then go to Kashi, Prayag and Gaya. Appa Kote made up his mind to accompany them. They both went to Nagpur first for the thread ceremony. Kaka Sahib Dikshit gave Shama rupees 200 for his expenses. Then they went to Gwalior for the marriage ceremony. There Nana Sahib Chandorkar gave Shama rupees 100 and his Vyahi, that is relative, Mr. Jatar, gave him also rupees 100. Then Shama went to Kashi and then to Ayodhya. He was well received in Jatar's beautiful temple of Lakshmi Narayan at Kashi, which is Varanasi or Banaras, which is also called as, and in the Ram Mandir at Ayodhya by Jatar's manager. They, that is the Shama and Kote, stayed there for 21 days in Ayodhya and 2 months in Kashi, that is Banaras. Then after they left for Gaya. In the train, they felt little uneasy on hearing that plague was prevailing in Gaya. At night, they alighted at Gaya station and stayed in the Dharamshala. In the morning, the Gayawala, that is the priest who arranges for lodging and boarding of the pilgrims, came there instead. The pilgrims have already started. You better make haste. Shama casually asked him whether there was any plague in Gaya. No, said the Gayawala. Please come without any fear or anxiety and see yourself. Then they went with him and stayed in his house, which was a big and spacious vada. Shama was pleased with this accommodation provided to him, but what pleased him most was the beautiful big portrait of Baba, fixed in the central and front portion of the building. On seeing this portrait, Shama was overwhelmed with emotion. He remembered Baba's words, that is, after doing Kashi and Prayag, we would be ahead of Shama, and burst into tears. His hair stood on end and his throat was choked, and he began to sob. The Gayawala thought that he was afraid of plague prevailing there and therefore was crying. But Shama inquired from him how he got Baba's portrait there. He replied that he had 200 or 300 agents working at Manmad and Puntambe for looking after the convenience of the pilgrims to Gaya, and from them he heard about Baba's fame. Then about 12 years ago he went to Shirudi and took Baba's darshan. Therefore he was attracted by Baba's portrait hung in Shama's house, and with Baba's permission Shama gave it to him. This was the same portrait. Shama then remembered this incident. The Gayawala's joy knew no bounds when he learned that the same Shama who obliged him before was his guest now. Then they both exchanged love and service and were most delighted and happy. The Gayawala gave him a royal welcome. He was a very rich man. He sat in a palanquin and made Shama ride an elephant and attended to all his comforts and conveniences. The moral of the story is that Baba's words came out true to the letter, and unbounded was his love towards the devotees. But leave this aside, he also loved all creatures equally, for he felt that he was one with them. The following story will illustrate this. Two goats. Baba was once returning from Lendi when he saw a flock of two goats. Two of them attracted his attention. He went to them, caressed and fondled them, and bought them for rupees 32. The devotees were surprised at this conduct of Baba. They thought that Baba was duped in this bargain, and the goat would fetch rupees 2 each, or at the most rupees 3 or 4 each, that is rupees 8 for both. They began to take Baba to ask for this, but Baba kept calm and cool. Shama and Tatya Kote asked Baba for an explanation. He said he did not care to store money and he had no home or family to look after. He asked them to purchase at his cost 4 seers of dal, that is lentil, and feed the goats. After this was done, Baba returned the goats to the owner of the flock and gave out the following reminiscences and story of the goats. O Shama and Tatya, you think that I have been deceived in this bargain? No, listen to their story. In their former birth, they were human beings and had good fortune to be with me and sit by my side. They were uterine brothers, loving each other initially, but later on they became enemies. The elder brother was an idle fellow, while the younger one was an active chap and earned a lot of money. The former became greedy and jealous and wanted to kill his younger brother and take away his money. They forgot their fraternal relations and began to quarrel with each other. The elder brother resorted to many devices to kill his younger brother, but all his attempts failed. Thus they became deadly enemies, and finally on one occasion the elder gave a deadly blow with a big stick on the latter's head, while the latter struck the former with an axe, with the result that both fell dead on the spot. As a result of their actions, they were born as goats. As they passed by me, I at once recognized them. I remembered their past history. By taking pity on them, I wanted to feed them and give them rest and comfort. For this reason, I spent all the money for which you blame me. As you did not like my bargain, I sent them back to their shepherd. Such was Sai's love for the goats. Bow to Sai, Shirdi Sai, peace be to all. Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha. Om Shri Sai Satcharitha. Meet you with 47th chapter next week. Om Shri Sai Ram.